Hello and welcome friends to this video on Rahu in all the 12 houses of your birth chart. Alright, do subscribe to this channel if you haven't. So let's get started. Rahu in each of the 12 houses. What kind of results Rahu can give you? Let's find out. Suppose if Rahu is in the first house, then what will happen? The first house is signified, the natural significator of the first house is Sun. Now, and also first house is ruled by Mars. So, the natural ruler. So, Mars and Sun, you have to look at the position of Mars and Sun in your birth chart. Okay, if Mars and Sun are well placed, then Rahu in the first house can give you good results. Okay, it can enable you to do well in your profession, and you can, even earn name and fame, and you can be very prosperous also. So Mars and Sun, if they are well positioned in the chart. Now friends, Rahu in the first house. What is the first house? First of all, what is Rahu? Rahu is the planet of illusion. It is a shadow planet. It is the north node of the moon. It is connected with addiction. It is connected with, being an idol breaker. Someone who does not believe in tradition. Someone whose way of thinking is very unconventional. Rahu signifies all of that. In short, a non-conformist, an outcast. Okay, Rahu is connected with smoke, even darkness, illusion. Rahu is also connected with even dirt, wherever you have, even garbage, even lavatories, even the washroom. There also we say that the presence of Rahu is there. And wherever there is smoke, even in your kitchen, where there is smoke, there is Rahu. And Rahu is also a planet which can also give you sudden expansion and growth. That is also possible. If Rahu turns out to be a benefic, then it can give you unimaginable growth also, an unimaginable expansion, sudden expansion and growth also. It can also give you, it can also make miracles happen. So Rahu can also be the significator of miracle. Now, friends, let us look at what happens when Rahu is in the first house. First house, as I told you a little while ago about Sun and Mars, they have to be strong. And first house is your body, actually, your health, okay, your personality. Such people who have Rahu in the first house, they will focus a lot on their looks, on their health. Okay, they may go to the gym also. They may want to have a body which is, in good shape. They may at least desire to have that. Alright, so that desire will be there to look beautiful, presentable. So they will focus on that. And also they will always, Rahu gives you even negative thoughts. Rahu makes you very suspicious. It makes you doubt people, doubt things. So such people will always be confused and will think whether they are looking well or not, whether people in society, they will accept them well or not. So always, how they look. I mean, are they presentable? Are they attractive? So always they will have this doubt on their minds. So they will work also towards it. And they will be very careful about how they look. About their health also they can be careful. Now, if they do it in a positive way, that means it can be good for them. They will focus on their life. Now, if they focus, they can be very self-centric also. Now, if the Rahu is not giving them good results, then they can be so self-centered that they can also indulge in antisocial activities, illegal activities, to become wealthy or rich. That will happen when Sun and Mars are afflicted, or Rahu's dispositor. You have to look at the sign which is there in the first house. If the ascendant lord or first lord is afflicted, then such things can happen. Look at the zodiac sign, and the lord of that zodiac sign, that is the dispositor. Rahu's dispositor should be well placed. Say in the first house, if Rahu is in Cancer, then you have to look at the position of moon in your birth chart. Where is moon placed? How it is placed? In which house? In which sign? What are the aspects on the moon? Is moon in good dignity, in good position? Then Rahu will give you good results. But otherwise, it may not give you good results. Okay, like that. So you have to look at the position of the exact strength of Rahu in order to know that. You have to look at the zodiac sign in which Rahu is placed, the lord of that sign, that is Rahu's dispositor, how that dispositor is placed, and also look at the Sun and Mars in the chart. Such people can be very suspicious by nature, people who have Rahu in the first house. They have a never-ending desire to gain things in life, and their hunger can be almost insatiable, very difficult to satisfy their hunger. So this can happen. They want more and more and more, and yet they are never satisfied. This can happen. But if Rahu is in good dignity, then definitely it can also give you sudden gains in life and make you prosperous and very wealthy. Now let us move on to Rahu in the second house. Second house is the house of your speech, family. It is the house of your food habits. Now, even your values, So, here, such people who have Rahu in the second house, general results it could be that such people, they may not speak the truth always. They may be in the habit of distorting the reality and presenting it to people. They will tend to distort facts, distort things and present it. This can happen because whatever they will speak, it may not be true. This can happen. Second house is naturally ruled by the Taurus sign, so Venus. So it is the house of actually Venus, and it is also the significator of the second house is Jupiter. So just you have to find out how Jupiter and Venus are placed in your chart. Jupiter and Venus, they should not be under any affliction. Okay? Otherwise, Rahu in this second house will not give you good results. The results may even become, even further, they may be, negative. If again Jupiter and Venus, if they are also under affliction, then it will be very problematic. Then such people, they may go away from their family, or because Rahu is actually foreign, actually not go away, but when you have Ketu, they will go away. They may stay, but they will not have a very good relationship with their family members. This can happen. Or their family may be in a foreign land. This can happen. So if their family is in a foreign land, so in a way they are detached, they are also separated. Yeah, so in a way that is also true. They may be away because family is now in a foreign place. Because Rahu is also connected to foreign things. Whatever is foreign is Rahu. Whatever is unusual, extraordinary, unfamiliar, foreign, that is Rahu. Now, such people, their food habits, that also could be a little unusual. They may be in the habit of eating at unusual hours. They may not follow the regular meals of the day. They may not have food, on time. They may have dinner at after 12 midnight also. So they may have dinner very late, dinner or supper, whatever. They may skip their food also, and when they are having, they may have too much. No fixed timetable. This can also happen if Rahu is in the second house. Unusual food habits. Then also, so Rahu in the second house, your speech also may be a little, your speech may be, the way you speak, that also could be unusual. The way you speak, actually, your speech may be very unusual. So definitely here, speech and voice, to some extent, as without voice, voice is also there. So either their voice will be strange, so their speech may seem to be very peculiar. This can happen. Or whenever they speak, they will speak in a very unusual way. So people, and they can shock people by their speech. They will speak when they are not expected to speak. And when they are expected to speak, they may not speak at all. They will remain quiet. That is why I said, unusual. When they are not expected to speak, they will speak up. And when they are expected to speak, they will remain silent. This can also happen. So all these things. Values, because Rahu is there. So such people may at times compromise on their values. They may deviate from the path of, the moral values they may have, no? So they may compromise on their values. Now Jupiter and Sun, if they are not well placed, then they may deviate from the path of morality. They may not believe in moral values even. Now let's go to, but Rahu in the second house, it can give you good results also, because it is, it is the house of wealth. So if Jupiter and Sun are well placed in your chart, then it can give you a lot of wealth also. Because Rahu is sudden gain in wealth. Through inheritance, it can show. Or maybe suddenly you inherited a lot of money. Or maybe you went to a foreign land and you were able to gain a lot of money. You gained a lot of money because of your in-laws, because of the joint assets. Maybe you have gained a lot of money. Suddenly you got married and you've gained a lot of money. This can also happen. So this can happen if Sun and Jupiter are well placed, sudden gain of wealth. Now let us go to Rahu in the third house. In this house, Rahu is believed to give you good results. Okay, third house is called the Upachaya Bhava. So in this bhava, what happens? The planet, usually it gives you result with time. That will happen if you have patience. Third house is the house of efforts, courage. Making continuous efforts with perseverance also. So then you will get good results. If Rahu is in the third, Rahu generally will do well in the third house. Generally, it is considered to be good in the third house, actually, because third house is naturally ruled by Mercury, and Mercury and Rahu, they happen to be, to some extent, compatible with each other. They are again believed by many astrologers as friends. Rahu and Mercury, they're friendly to each other. So you will get good results if it is in the third house, provided Mercury is well placed in your chart. More or less well placed, you will get good results. If Mercury is not in affliction, if Mercury is more or less well placed, Rahu will give you very good results if it is in the third house. Okay, it will enable you to work hard, it will enable you to make efforts, and unusually you will make efforts so that people will be shocked. Also your communication, if Mercury is also well placed in the chart, this house is naturally ruled by Mercury, and significator is also Mars of the third house. So Mars and Mercury, more or less, if they are well placed, then you will have the courage to communicate properly. Your communication skills will be very good. because Rahu, no, you will have the power to convince people with your communication skills. So Rahu in the third house can make you a very good entrepreneur, business person. You can do very well in business, okay? Even in job, if you're using your communication skills in your job also, you can do very well. So you make efforts and you will do very well in life with time. Just go on making efforts. Make use of your communication skills. Third house is also the house of your hands. Okay, writing skills also we see from there. So writing skills, painting skills, even sports people, because Mars and Mercury connected to third house. You can be a very good sports person. Okay, so all these things can happen if Rahu is in the third house. You can be a very good journalist, writer. Okay, you can be a very good fictional writer also. And even if you're a journalist, you will have a very attractive way of speaking, because Rahu is attraction. So you will be able to attract people with your communication skills and ability. It's a very good and interesting position of Rahu, third house. Let us go to Rahu in the fourth house. In the fourth house, this is the house of the moon actually. Significator and is actually moon and even Mercury. They are believed to be the significator of the fourth house. And moon is the lord, natural lord. So look at the position of moon in your chart, how it is placed, even Mercury. That will decide what results Rahu will give you in the fourth house. Okay. Now, if moon and Mercury are well placed in the chart, then there is a possibility that if Rahu is your fourth house, if you are going towards Rahu, like for example, because fourth house is also your mind. If you are absorbed in thoughts, because moon, Mercury is significator of fourth house, your emotions moon, thoughts Mercury. So your thinking, your thought process is associated with all kinds of fields which are connected to Rahu. Like any kind of in-depth research is also connected to Rahu. Investigation cannot, secretive investigation, that can be connected to Rahu. Which is secretively you're doing some investigation, that is Rahu. You can also do well, you have Rahu here, in any kind of field which is connected to some sort of secretive knowledge, occult fields like astrology, tarot, palmistry, face reading. You can do well. Even Vastu. Okay, so if you know how to any of these occult fields, if you're good at them, you can do well. But provided moon and Mercury are well placed in the chart. Otherwise, what it can show that this is the house of the mother. So you may be very much attached. Rahu is attachment, just as Ketu is detachment. So you may be very much attached to your mother. It can show this. The mother may go to a foreign land, or you may be very much attached to your mother. Then it can show, again, you may have difference of opinion also with your mother, but nevertheless you will love your mother a lot. Then your mother also may be a very unusual, unconventional lady who does not believe in tradition or conventional beliefs. Her way of thinking will be very unusual, extraordinary. This can happen when Rahu is in the fourth house. But then generally this placement is generally, quote unquote, generally not believed to be very good. But yeah, as I told you, if your thought process is engaged in any kind of secretive investigation, occult fields, or if it is or maybe you are staying in a foreign land, because a fourth house is also your home. So home in a foreign land, Rahu, that can give you good results. or if you are exploring even how you're trying to read the secrets, you're trying to unravel the secrets of the human mind, even if you are connected somehow to psychology, clinical psychology, it can give you good results. So it's like that. But generally this position of Rahu in the 4th house is not believed to be a very good position, because 4th house is actually your mind, also your peace of mind, the relationship with your mother, the happiness that you derive from your home also, okay, your self satisfaction and contentment, your peace, solace, that is the 4th house. So there you have this shadow planet which could be disturbing, okay. So lack of mental peace, this can happen, okay. Even children, if they have this, like students, I'm talking of students, because 4th house is also your thought process, definitely, because 4th house is significator are Moon and Mercury, so your emotions and thoughts also. So such children can be, or students may be very distracted. You have Rahu in the 4th house, very difficult for you to concentrate on something. Their mind will be distracted all the time. This can happen. And lack of mental peace for anybody who has Rahu in the 4th house. Lack of mental peace and all. Maybe you will find mental peace if you settle down in a foreign land. So that is why. So if Rahu is in the 4th house, you need certain remedies. Like maybe if you get the opportunity, you should go to a foreign land, okay, and settle down there. There could be all these remedies. But Rahu remedies, when you perform, you need to be very careful. So those remedies which can come to you naturally, like you get the opportunity either for education or for job, or even after marriage, you get the opportunity to settle down in a foreign land, you go there, it's happening naturally. So natural remedies you do, so that could be very good for Rahu, because while doing Rahu remedies you need to be very careful. So when you do these natural things, it could be good. Let's move on to Rahu in the 5th house. Rahu in the 5th house of education, knowledge. Definitely some obstacles may come in acquiring education. This can happen. Or for education you may have to go to especially for college education. This is actually, this education is even, 5th house is the house of knowledge. Okay. So it can show even your high school and college education, high school and even 10+2, even college. This is your 5th house, when you tend to acquire knowledge. So you will encounter obstacles in education. This can happen if you're staying in your homeland. Now the remedy could be if you can go to a different place, a different town for studies, for education, for high school studies, or 10+2, or even higher than that, if you can go. 9th house is the house of the education which you acquire, especially in universities and all. That is after graduation. You can say that is 9th house. Or even you are doing after graduation, maybe you're doing any sort of research. That is, research is seen from 8th house. And 9th house usually is connected to university education. Okay. Yeah. So here what we can see, that obstacles in the 5th house, if you have Rahu, obstacles you will encounter in education unless you're able to go to a different place, a different town at least, or a different state within the same country, or a different country. If you can go abroad for studies, it will be very good. Okay. Otherwise it may be also difficult for you to study well. Then Rahu in the 5th house, you may fall in love with somebody who is from a different culture, from a foreign culture, a different language community, or a different religion, a different place, a foreign land. You may fall in love with such a person. Otherwise you may fall in love with somebody and that person may cheat on you. That person may betray you. Rahu 5th house, you may have to face betrayal in love. this can happen. Then Rahu in the 5th house, what can happen? What else? Even your children. Your children may be in a foreign land. Your children may have to go to a foreign land for studies or job. Or Rahu 5th house, with children you may have difference of opinion, problems, arguments with children. Yes, you may find your children very unusual, very strange. They may be estranged from you. You may not be able to understand them. Okay? So there may be some barrier between you and your children. And the remedy could be if children are away from you for studies or job. So yeah. And one more remedy for Rahu in the 5th house, especially for your child. So such a child also could get distracted, because Rahu is distraction, illusion. So even studies, this 5th house is also the house of knowledge, even education. So you may get distracted while you're studying. So you should actually do some meditation. This is also a very good remedy for Rahu in the 5th house. Okay. Now, let's move on to Rahu in the 6th house. Oh, 5th house, one thing I forgot to mention. 5th house is the house of the significator of the 5th house is Jupiter. And 5th house is naturally ruled by Sun. So Sun and Jupiter, how they are placed in the chart, that is also very important. That will also decide what results you are going to get. And obviously always look at the dispositor of Rahu. So all these things will tell you what results you will get from Rahu in the 5th house. Okay. Now 6th house, Rahu. This house is again considered to be very good. It is another Upachaya house. This is considered to be a very good house for Rahu. It is said that when you have Rahu in the 6th house, you will have the courage. Now 6th house, the significators are Saturn and Mars. And the natural lord is Mercury of the 6th house. So definitely just also have a quick look at how Mercury, Saturn, Mars are placed in your chart. If they are more or less well placed, then definitely Rahu in the 6th house is generally considered to be very powerful. It will give you the courage to defeat your enemies. Your enemies can't harm you at all. You will always have the upper hand. You will always have an advantage over your enemies, and you can defeat them actually. Rahu in the 6th house, because again you see this is the house of Mercury, and Mercury, Rahu, they are natural friends. So here Rahu gives you that intelligence. It gives you that intelligence to deal with people. Okay, this is also the house of litigation, lawsuits. Okay, so you can win over your legal cases when you have Rahu, because in the 6th house, Rahu gives you that intelligence to see through things, to defend yourself, to convince the judge so that things turn in your favor. So there is a possibility that you will win legal cases when you have Rahu in the 6th house. Okay, but one thing, be careful about loans. When you're taking loan, now Rahu expands everything. So such people may take loan, and then they may take loan illegally through unlawful means also. They may adopt unfair means to seek loan, and then that may be problematic. So only when Rahu is in the 6th house, be careful about loan. Okay? Yeah. Otherwise, it will give you very good results. You can win over your enemies. It can make you very sharp, very intelligent. Because this is the house of Mercury. And Mercury also you have to see how, in which dignity it is placed. Then this will be a very good placement for Rahu. You may be associated with certain organizations which are working for physically handicapped people, for blind people. Actually, when Rahu is in the 6th house, you people towards, okay, after maybe the age of 40, 42, they do charity. They associate themselves with such organizations, welfare organizations, which are working for blind people, physically handicapped or mentally challenged people. or children. So they associate themselves with such organizations. So that can also benefit them a lot, very much. Now, if you have Rahu in the 6th, this is also a remedy for Rahu in the 6th, that you should do charity for the, unprivileged, okay? Especially for the physically, mentally challenged. Now, Rahu, let us go to Rahu in the 7th house. What kind of results you can get, okay? Now, one more thing I would like to mention. You have Rahu in the 6th house. 6th house is also the house of your job, okay? So at your workplace also you may have difference of opinion with people. You may have a lot of enemies when you have Rahu in the 6th house. You may have a lot of enemies, but they may not be able to harm you. If Mercury is well placed, Mercury, Mars are well placed, even Saturn, then they won't be able to harm you, okay? And you will win over them. Now let's go to Rahu in the 7th house. 7th house of marriage, spouse. 7th house is also the house of business, partnership, any kind of partnership. 7th house is actually the world before you, the world that you face. With whomever you deal, they are the 7th house. So you're a doctor, you deal with your patient is the 7th house. You're a teacher, your student is the 7th house. You're a speaker, your listener is the 7th house. Like that. So people with whom you deal, they fall under the 7th house. So you have Rahu there. Now, such people, they must be very careful about partnership. So they may have to face betrayal in partnership. Their partner, if they're doing any sort of business, partnership business, the partner may not be trustworthy. This can happen. 7th house is actually the house of Venus. How is Venus placed in the chart? Please look at that. That is very important. 7th house is the house of marriage. If you marry somebody who belongs to a foreign culture, that will be very good. If you marry someone who belongs to a foreign culture, different language, community, different religion, then that marriage can be more or less successful. Otherwise, there could be problems in the marriage. Because Rahu is there, so there can be quarrels, there can be problems. You may doubt your partner may doubt you. Suspicion, lack of trust, lack of proper bonding, these things will happen. So the remedy for Rahu in the 7th house is that if you are at a marriageable age, then get married to somebody who belongs to a foreign culture or a foreign place. That's the remedy. Okay? Or somebody who is connected to occult fields, because Rahu is anything which is connected with hidden knowledge. Okay? Somebody who's connected to occult fields, somebody who's connected to secret investigation, like even in the field of law, lawyers, they also conduct, lawyers' secret investigation and all that. So someone who's connected to all that, you should get married to them. So that could be a good remedy. Now, suppose, yes, I told you about partnership. So you may not be able to trust your partner. Okay? Now your partner, suppose you choose a business partner who's a foreigner or from a foreign culture, then definitely the situation could be better. Okay? So yeah, if you choose a partner, business partner also, that partner also should be from a foreign land or foreign culture, like that. Otherwise, betrayal you may have to face. So yeah, let us move towards Rahu in the 8th house. 8th house is naturally ruled by Mars, because we have the sign of Scorpio there. And significator of 8th house is also Saturn. So look at the position of Saturn and Mars in your chart when you have Rahu in the 8th house. Always, as I told you, it's needless to mention that you need to look at the dispositor of Rahu. In which sign, zodiac sign Rahu is placed. Say if Rahu is in Pisces in the 8th house, then look at the position of Jupiter, because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. So the Jupiter becomes Rahu's dispositor, like that. So look at the dispositor, look at, it is in the 8th house, so look at Saturn and Mars's position in the chart. Okay. Now, Rahu in the 8th house. Such people are believed to be very secretive. Very, very secretive. They may have a secret life, okay, about which even their near and dear ones may not be aware. Okay. Then Rahu in the 8th house. When you have Rahu in the 8th house, you may have problems with your in-laws after marriage. This can happen with your spouse's family. You may have problems with them, or your spouse's family may live in a foreign land away from you. This can happen. Suddenly you may gain from your in-laws after marriage, maybe because of your in-laws or because of some inheritance after marriage. You may gain a lot of money. This can happen because 8th house is also the house of sudden gains. Some family inheritance also can enable you to gain money. Some inheritance after marriage, some joint assets with your spouse after marriage, that can enable you to gain a lot of money suddenly after marriage. This can happen. Now, when Rahu is in the 8th house, what else we can say? That 8th house is again the house of meditation also, going deep within you through deep meditation and all, even some kind of astral travel which will take you within yourself. Okay, so 8th house is also, that is why the house of transformation and even spirituality. So you have Rahu there. If you are, then the best remedy for Rahu in the 8th house is doing some meditation. Okay, so instead of getting distracted and getting attracted to things unlawfully, because Rahu is temptation. Rahu is 8th house is also your sex life. So you may be attracted to somebody outside marriage, extramarital affair. You may, when you have Rahu in the 8th house, you may have a very secretive, sex life. This can happen. So that again, if you are married to someone else, so it could create problems in your marriage. That is why, because if 7th house is marriage, 8th house is your life after marriage. So problems can be there in your married life then. Okay, problems with your in-laws, in your married life. So you have to be very careful. So the best remedy for Rahu in the 8th house is doing some meditation. That is very important. Meditation will help you, or studying some studying any of the occult fields of knowledge, acquiring knowledge in any of the occult fields. That is also a good remedy. Okay, so all these things you must keep in mind when Rahu is in the 8th house. Generally, I will not say it is a very great placement, okay, because such people, they tend to be very secretive, and it's very difficult to know such people, right? But if you're going towards the field of occult sciences, you can do very well if Rahu is in the 8th house. Yes, because Rahu will enable you to, because Rahu is the head, of the dragon, the head of the dragon. Rahu represents, the ability to analyze things, analytical ability also. It is the head, yes, which is very analytical, which is very skeptical, critical, which, tends to doubt everything, suspect everything. Why? Because they're very analytical. It is the head of the dragon, just as Ketu is the tail. So Rahu is the head. So if you're using your head in knowing things related to secret fields of study, it can give you a lot of good results. You can do even any of the occult fields. But yes, Don't go into tantric studies for, hypnotizing people for your personal gains, harming others. Don't do that. So that is also occult field, but that is not good actually. Ultimately you will have to, because Saturn, no? After all, 8th house is also connected to Saturn. So Saturn will punish you if you're using your occult powers to tame somebody, to extract benefits out of someone. That you shouldn't do. But you're going into the occult field to help people, then it will give you very good results. Even sudden gain of wealth also. Why not? Sudden gain of money. You may suddenly, people may, if you're really doing well in the occult field, or maybe any kind of field which is connected to secret investigation, whether it is the field of law, whether it is a field of even surgery, medical science also, anywhere where you need secretive investigation, when you need to use your head. Now when somebody is suffering from a disease also, and the person, they don't know, they are suffering from some problem. So Rahu also in the 8th house. 8th house is the house of surgery. So you are able to investigate what is wrong, and you're able to find out the cause of that disease, and you're able to cure the person. So that is also that healing ability also you have when you have Rahu. Rahu in the 8th house, you could be very good healers actually. Yes. Even you have Rahu in the 5th house, because 5th house is also knowledge. You're taking yourself towards 5th house Rahu or 8th house Rahu. You're trying to heal people, then it will give you very good results. Okay. Now let's move on to Rahu in the 9th house. Rahu in the 9th house. 9th house is the house of your father. The significators of 9th house are actually Sun and Jupiter, and also ruled by 9th house is ruled by Jupiter. Okay, and significators are Sun and Jupiter. So how Sun and Jupiter are placed in your chart? To look at that. Generally 9th house is not considered to be a very good place for Rahu to be in, because such people, their beliefs will be very different, very unconventional. They may not believe in religion. They may not follow the path of worship which was shown by their parents or ancestors. They may totally deviate. I'm not saying deviating is wrong. It is not wrong. But if Rahu is afflicted, and especially if Sun and Jupiter, they are not in good dignity, then such people, they may not believe in God. They may not even believe in morality if Sun and Jupiter are not in good dignity. They may become either immoral or amoral. This can happen. Okay? But in any case, their way of worship will be somewhat unusual. The way they worship or connect with the divine energies, that can be a little unusual, quite unusual. Very unorthodox way of worshipping the divine. This can happen. Rahu in the 9th house can definitely enable you to undertake a foreign travel. Definitely. Because Rahu is foreign land, 9th house is also foreign travel. So it can enable you to travel to foreign lands. Now, what else we can say? With your father, you may have difference of opinion. You may be attached to your father, because Rahu is attachment. You will be attached, but again, you may not agree with your father regarding various things. No, you may not agree with your father. Difference of opinion, dissent may be there. So, but nevertheless, you will be attached to your father. Okay, or your father may be in a different place, may live away from you. This can happen. My father may be in a foreign land. So all these things we can say when Rahu is in the 9th house. Look at the dignity of Jupiter and Sun. Very important. Okay? Such people may compromise on their moral values also. That is the problem. So, because 9th house is the house of moral values also. Principles. So when you have Rahu, Rahu does not believe in any, sort of moral values, morality as such. Rahu's way of thinking is very peculiar. Like whatever has been given to us or laid down, whatever has been handed down to us, Rahu questions everything. So then such people may even compromise on their moral principles for their own gains. They may do that. Okay? In order to get fortunate or lucky, they think that let me compromise on my principles, I can gain lucky. I can get lucky. They may think like that. Okay, but that is not it actually. So especially when Rahu is in the 9th house, such people, they also should believe in meditation. Though 9th house is the house of worship, and here you may not be able to worship in a normal way, that is okay. You may not worship, you may not observe religious rituals and all. That may be your case. But you can always, because mind, Rahu is, again, Rahu can confuse you also in the 9th house. You may not know which deity or which divine energy to worship. You may worship in many, many deities and finally you may be confused. So that is why the remedy for Rahu in the 9th house is also meditation. So that you can focus on one particular divine energy. Okay? You can focus on one point. That is important. Because Rahu in the 9th house means you may be confused. Whom I should worship? You may doubt your own religion. So you may tend to follow some other religion. Following some other religion is not wrong. But you must have, it should be clear in your head why I am following. If I want to follow some other religion, then at least be true to that religion. So that is important. Now let's go to Rahu in the 10th house. This is considered to be a very good position for Rahu. Again, 10th is also a house which is again Upachaya Bhava. Here Rahu will do very well. Here you get the results with time. So this is the house actually which is ruled by Saturn in the chart of the cosmic man or Kalpurusha. So Saturn, because here you have the sign of Capricorn. But again, the natural significators of this house are even Jupiter, Mercury, Sun. They also signify this house, even Saturn. So these are the natural significators. So how Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, how they are placed. Sun is believed to gain directional strength in the 10th house. So Sun is also a significator of the 10th house. So look at the dignity of these planets in your chart. The dispositor of Rahu. Generally Rahu will give you good results in the 10th house. Generally. Provided you are, but then if these planets are more or less well placed, which I mentioned just now, and it will give you good results if your profession or your work is connected to some foreign land, because Rahu is foreign. So your work or profession is connected to some foreign land, you will get good results from this placement. Okay? Now, or your profession or work is connected to any kind of secretive investigation, you're dealing with some hidden knowledge and you're trying to explore some hidden knowledge, you're secretively doing research to get hold of some hidden truth, knowledge, then it will be good. Because Rahu is whatever is hidden. Even secret agencies, if you're working for them, very good. Detective, secret agencies, espionage networks, people who work in the intelligence department, that's very good. Even people who are psychologists, occult field, all these fields will be very good when you have Rahu in the 10th house. 10th is your profession, that is why. 10th house Rahu can also make you a very good politician if Rahu is powerfully placed and is giving you good results. I mean, more or less if well placed, if all these planets which I mentioned, the significator of 10th house and natural lord Saturn is more or less well placed, you can be a very good politician. You can do well in the field of politics. Yeah. Then you can do well if you have gone to a foreign land for your work, or you're staying in your homeland but you have foreign connections. You are dealing with foreigners or people from foreign culture, and you are engaged in foreign transactions. Then it can be very beneficial for you when you have Rahu in the 10th house. Now, Rahu in the 10th house, you have to remember one thing. If you are at a workplace, don't argue with people who are senior to you. That is very important. Okay? If you do that, then it will be problematic, because such people, Rahu is a what? Rahu is a protester, idol breaker. Rahu will always question things. So you may have a tendency to, because 10th house is your workplace also, profession. So you may argue with people, your colleagues and your seniors especially. Don't do that. Don't ever argue with your boss or with people who are in authority. 10th house is the house of power, authority. So don't argue with people in authority and power. This is the remedy for Rahu in the 10th house. Rahu in the 10th house. You also, your public image may be very unusual and secretive. The way you kind of project yourself in public, people might be guessing things about you all the time. They may never be able to catch you, or they may never be able to decipher, or they may never be able to decode your identity, your public image. It will always be a mystery to them. That what they may keep guessing who you are, what you are. So many things, they will keep guessing your public image. Like I'm giving you an example. They may keep guessing your age. What is it? That's this person's age. They may keep guessing and never get the answer. They will keep guessing whether you are married or single. What is your marital status? So people, when you have Rahu in the 10th house, this can happen. That your public image or personality, your image in public, that can also be very mysterious and very secretive. So people will never think that, even if maybe they meet you, they see you or somewhere, maybe they see you online, because Rahu is also online technology. So, developing your public image through online technology also, when you have Rahu in the 10th house. But people will always find that you are very unusual, very strange. And they will think, okay, they can never know you enough. And your identity will remain a mystery to them. But again, that will also make you very attractive. Very attractive. And people will get drawn to you because of that mystery. Because whatever is mysterious and hidden is attractive. Yes? So you may have that sort of an attractive personality also. Very unusual, very extraordinary. And 10th house is the house of power. So authority. So you may also gain authority in a very unusual, secretive way in life later on. This will also happen, like I said, you can be a very good politician, you can be a very good leader, a leader in any field where people are following you, very good celebrity, or a leader in your own field where you have lots of followers, lots of people who are your disciples and followers. You could be in any field, not just politics. And you will have, you will gain authority later on in life. This will happen when Rahu is a benefic in your chart. And it is mysterious actually how you will gain that authority. People will follow you. They will believe you. They will trust you. And you will develop that mysteriously. Actually, that aura you have. So from somewhere you get that, I don't know, some divine grace, energy, something in you. Because it is your public image, and there you have Rahu. So you will seem to be so attractive, so unusual, that finally you will gain, you'll end up gaining even authority, power, position. Yes. And you will gain so many followers, no matter in which field you are. So 10th house can be very good actually, if you look at it in this way. Okay. So it can make you, land up in a very prosperous and powerful position in future, and that can also happen very mysteriously. Yeah. So people will not have any clue how it happened, but yeah, it can happen. It can happen. Now let's go to Rahu in the 11th house. 11th house is the house of gains. It is naturally signified by Jupiter and ruled by Saturn. So look at the dignity of Saturn and Jupiter in your birth chart. If Saturn and Jupiter are more or less well placed in your birth chart, then, and anyway, 11th house is also an Upachaya Bhava which grows with time. So Rahu will give you unimaginable gains if it's in the 11th house. This can happen. Definitely. If Saturn and Jupiter are more or less well placed or in good dignity. Look at Rahu's dispositor also in the chart. So this house is considered generally to be very good for Rahu. Alright. So Saturn and Jupiter, they are the significators. So what is the best remedy? What does Saturn want you? Saturn wants you to make efforts, work hard, have patience and wait for your results. Just focus on your work and have the patience to wait for results to come. That's what Saturn wants you to do. If you're doing that, then no one can stop you from gains actually. No one can stop you from, acquiring gains in life. Monetary gains, gain of position, authority, money, power, gaining friends in the social circle, and benefiting from people who are in your social circle. It could be your social circle where you move about, where you party, where you meet people personally, or it could be even your social media circle. That is also the 11th house. So it can give you a lot of gains because of your social media circle or your social circle. This can happen. Your elder siblings. You may, somehow your elder siblings may live in a foreign land. They may live in a foreign land. If you maintain a good relationship with them, you may suddenly or mysteriously even gain from them. This can also happen. But yeah, they may live in a foreign land, elder siblings. This can happen. Then, Rahu gives you very good results actually when it is when it's in the 11th house, the house of gains. Yes. So yeah, Rahu in the 11th house. Jupiter is the natural significator. So don't try to, Jupiter is again ethicality and morality. So when you tend to maximize your gains, or you tend to focus on your profits and gains, don't try to earn money through unfair means, because Jupiter is the significator and Saturn is the Lord. If you earn money through unfair means, Jupiter will get naturally afflicted, will become weak, and Saturn is the Lord. So Saturn is again the arbiter. Saturn is the judge. Saturn will punish. So don't do that. When you have Rahu in the 11th house, such people, they may tend to gain money through unfair means also. But that you shouldn't do. The best remedy for Rahu in the 11th house is to just work hard, do your job, do your work, do your business with ethicality and morality. And then you will see, suddenly you will gain so much, and that gain will last not just throughout your life, but even your forthcoming generations may benefit from those gains. Rahu can give you so much. Now let's go to the 12th house, the final house. What results you can expect when Rahu is in the 12th house? When Rahu is in the 12th house, you have to look at the significator. Natural significator is Saturn. Okay, and Jupiter is the natural lord of the 12th house. Okay, natural lord is Jupiter. You have the sign of Pisces, and this time the significator is Saturn. So again, Saturn and Jupiter, they should be more or less well placed. Or else if you want to strengthen your Saturn, just work hard and wait patiently for the results. Saturn is hard work and patience, because Saturn gives results with time. And in order to strengthen your Jupiter, respect your elders, respect people who are senior to you, who are knowledgeable, respect them, and follow a path of morality. Jupiter is also connected to spirituality. Even Saturn is connected to, charity and spirituality. Even Saturn. Because Saturn and Jupiter, they are connected to the 12th house of moksha, the ultimate liberation. So when when Rahu is in the 12th house, the best remedy is to be charitable. Be charitable to the poor, to the needy, to the downtrodden, to the physically or mentally challenged or handicapped. Be charitable to anyone who's in need of your help. It could be monetary help. It could be any kind of help. If someone is sick, you take them to the hospital. You may pay the hospital bill. You may not. But even taking them to the hospital, that is also a charity. Someone is lost, is in need of some guidance. You guide them along the right path. That is also charity. Someone is totally broken, totally shattered. Someone is totally heartbroken. And you support them. You provide them with moral support. That is also charity. And definitely being kind to the poor and unprivileged, to the, handicapped. That is the best remedy. Because this is the house of charity also. 12th house. Because first house is self. 12th house, when you are not thinking of yourself. You are thinking of others. You are thinking of giving away. That is 12th house. So, very good remedy for Rahu in the 12th house could be meditation also. You can gain from associations with foreign lands. If you travel to a foreign land, you can gain there. Rahu can give you sudden gains. But that also will happen when your Saturn and Jupiter are more or less well placed, or you are strengthening them in the way I mentioned a little while earlier. By indulging in positive karmas, in positive actions, hard work, and by following the path of morality in life. That will strengthen both Saturn, Jupiter. Okay? And if you go to a foreign land somehow, that will enable you to gain a lot from this placement. Rahu in the 12th house. Rahu, 12th house is your sleep also. So some disturbance, Rahu may cause some disturbance in your sleep. Or whenever you go to sleep, you may have dreams. They could even be nightmares. And it may so happen that you may get up in the middle of the night and you may feel restless. That can happen. Rahu in the 12th house, such people may suffer from fears. 12th house is the house of imaginary fears actually. Or even your hidden fears, your hidden enemies. Such people may be worried about their hidden fears, hidden enemies. Okay? So, yeah. And they need to be careful also. They may have hidden enemies, and those hidden enemies may harm them. So when you have Rahu in the 12th house, you need to be very careful. Actually. Yes. So the best thing is, the best remedy is charity, and also definitely meditation. Because 12th house is also the house of yoga and meditation. So that is very good. So that, you are able to meditate, you're able to realize that I need to follow the path of morality. I need to work hard. Otherwise, if Jupiter and Saturn become weak, then Rahu in the 12th house can trouble you. Because this is also the house of prison, 12th house. It is also the house of asylum, mental asylum, any kind of asylum, prison, hospitals. Okay? So that is why you need to be very careful when Rahu is in the 12th house. So, because Rahu is again the planet of illusion. Yes, the planet of illusion. So if you get distracted, if you move away from the path of ethicality. You may land up in trouble also. Yes. So that is why you have to, be careful when you have Rahu in the 12th house. So all these remedies which I mentioned just now, you should do. So yeah, friends, I think that was my take on Rahu in each of the 12 houses. Alright. So let me know your thoughts, what you think about Rahu in the 12th house, Rahu in each of the houses. Just let me know in the comment section. Alright. So yeah, take care, friends. And if you want personal consultation, my number is there in the video description. So yeah. So one thing I forgot to mention, Rahu in the 12th house. 12th house is also the house of foreign land. It's a foreign land, and Rahu is also foreign. So such people will benefit from foreign transactions a lot. Dealing with foreign people, dealing with foreign lands. Suppose they go to a foreign land, they will benefit a lot. Okay, or else if they are not in a foreign land, they are in their homeland, then they need to be very careful also. Okay. Very careful, because Rahu is illusion. Rahu can also be connected to problems. Yes, Rahu can be connected to problems, because Rahu is again going against society. Okay, so now you are suppose you go to a foreign land, you will get good results. But suppose if you are in your own land, and also there is a belief that when you have Rahu in the 12th house, so never go out in the late hours of the night when people are sleeping, especially. Don't go out alone when you have Rahu in the 12th house. Suddenly some hidden enemy or somebody may, cause trouble, especially in the late hours of the night or in midnight. You're traveling alone, so you may land up in a problem. So be very careful. Never travel alone like this. Especially in those weird hours of the night, because anyway lack of sleep into 12th house, so don't travel alone at night. That is also a very good remedy. You never know which hidden enemy may be there, and you land up in problems, so you have to be careful. Okay, so yeah, so that is what. So be careful about this placement, but yeah, if you are going to a foreign place, then it can give you good results. You're connected to foreign people, it can give you good results. Yes. All right, friends, yes, that was my take on Rahu in each of the 12 houses of your birth chart. So see you next time, friends. Take care. Bye.